Welcome back to The Grind. I wanted to make a quick video to review the recommended base layouts for starting out from level 1 and advancing up to approximately level 300 is what I hear. I'm not there yet, so I can't definitively speak to that, but at least up to my level, which is about 220. This will be in addition to the other videos I made for base building, so make sure to check them out. The links to those will be in the description. That'll include basic overall tips for how to build your base in the best, most efficient way, as well as tips for when to decide to build a second flak or a third flak and so on. So when you first start out, you're going to want to build your farms and mills as soon as you're allowed to, and you want to start building these 5 towers here on island 2, the front of this long island. And you're going to want to start with the archer tower, the cannon, the blue and red mage, and the storm. And those are just simply the best towers to have in combination at this level. The storm to shield and protect your towers, the mages to prevent spells from being used, and then the cannon is great because it can break shields with the super shot, and the archer tower shoots fast and does a fair amount of damage. In this situation, you want your farms and mills behind your damage towers, because if you can prevent the dragons from getting to the back, they will not be able to complete your base because the farms and mills have so much health in comparison to your other towers. If you put your farms and mills up front and they wipe them all out right away and then only do a little bit of damage to your damage towers, then they still might get 70% and defeat your base. It is very, very important to focus on these main towers and not build multiple of each tower and extend your base, because as I will describe in my other video, the strength of a higher level tower is much greater than 2 lower level towers. This is the most important tip you can remember, and the only time you want to build another tower is if your level is too low to build your current towers a higher level. So at some point you will get to the point where you need to level up again before you can upgrade your current towers, at which point I would recommend adding a red mage between your farms and mills here, because you will end up using that mage in the future, and that will allow you to unlock more levels on your main towers so you can continue making your base even stronger. Now, once you get up to about level 40, roughly, you start to unlock new towers like the fire and ice turret and the flak towers. At this point, you will want to move to island 3 for your kill island and move your farms and mills up to island 2. So these towers are much more powerful, and in order to really have a strong base, these towers are essential. The main ones including flaks. However, flaks are very expensive, so you want to be very sure that you don't build multiple flaks when you can't afford it. Meaning, if you don't pay to play, you should only build 1 flak until you're greater than level 200 and you know you can keep up with 2. The main flak most people get is the dark flak because it does the most damage, and because the super shot stuns dragons, which can be very useful. However, I have heard several valid arguments that the dark flak is not the superior tower, especially because at a certain point, other towers become more useful, like the ice flak, which can disable all spells, including white spells, which can definitely stop most dragons in their tracks. The thing to keep in mind is this will be your primary source of damage, so you want to pick a flak that does a fair amount of damage, like the dark flak or the fire flak, and possibly the ice flak, but it does a little bit less damage. It can be very useful though. So before you pick your flak, talk with your team, talk with some people, check the forums, and make sure to watch my video on when to build a second flak, because I review the different types of flaks in that video as well. So you can see in the back right position, I have an ice turret, which is a pretty good combination to have with these towers, because the ice turret does a fair amount of damage. It starts the damage right away, and it adds a temporary shield or extra health to the surrounding towers, as well as decreased dragons' attack speed, which can be very useful in combination with these other buildings. The important thing to remember though is a level 15 ice turret is not going to be better than a level 30 archer tower. So if your ice turret is not up to the level for your other towers, you don't want to put it on your kill island until it is at the right level. You can replace that ice turret with other towers like the fire turret or the archer tower or cannon tower, depending on what you have at the right level and your resources you have, because sometimes the turrets are hard to get resources for unless you're opening all your gold chests in fortification. The cannon tower is pretty good because it acts somewhat like an ice flak in the sense that it can break shields, even white shields, which can be very useful if you don't have another high damage dealing flak tower. When you decide you're ready to build another flak tower, you can replace that other tower with your flak. So for me, I have the dark flak and the fire flak set up. And for information on which flaks to choose, check out my other video. If I could redo it, I may choose differently, but I'm very indecisive. So then again, I may not have chosen any different. I do know some people who decide to replace the storm tower with the earth flak and leave the cannon tower there, because the earth flak is better than the storm tower because it gives bonus health as well as the shield, and then they can keep the cannon tower to destroy shields. It's mostly just a preference, so do your research before you decide. Once you've moved your kill island up to island 3, you want to move your farms and mills up to island 2. I feel like this is better because the farms and mills have a lot of health if you keep them up for your level, and it can be very challenging for dragons to take out all the farms and mills in this short span, whereas if they're on the first island, they have the whole flying time from the front of the island to start doing damage to them, especially because these back towers won't be doing as much damage. Now you can leave those towers there because in some cases they will kill dragons, and it can make it harder to kill the farms and mills if you have the storm and ice turret there. And then I do recommend putting a mage tower at the very end of the base to increase the flight time, because that can be crucial in PvP and in Atlas. And then having a kill island or a mage drain island can be helpful. I like the mages with a single ice flak. You don't have to level it up. Level 1 is fine just to get the super shot to disable shields and cloaks so you can hit them with your mage spells. And then once you get to about level 300 plus, you need to start leveling other towers to continue to level up the main towers on your kill island. So some people at that point move to the middle long island so that all their higher level towers can continue doing damage together. But I have seen some 450 plus who stick with the micro base setup, which means keeping your main towers only on island 3 and not moving to island 4 and 5 long island. I think I'm going to stick with island 3 for as long as I can. I'm still a ways away anyways. But I hope this was helpful, and definitely check out the other videos on base building because there is a lot of important information. And good luck with your base.